I've been making bone broth for about a year and a half now, and there are some flavors that I really don't like and some that I absolutely love. I'm going to show you how to make them and which flavors are my favorite. First things first, you got to make the bone broth. Now, when you're making the bone broth, don't roast your bones and don't add any salt. Don't add any seasonings. Don't add any onions or garlic or celery. Keep the veggies out. You are literally just making plain, pure bone broth, okay? All those other flavors, they're wonderful for a savory broth, but here we're not looking for savory. All you want to do is cover the bones with water and cook it for 12 to 24 hours. Now, if you want more details on this, I have a full video right here. And if you can't see that here, then I'll go ahead and put it in the description for you also. After you have made the bone broth, you ladle out the fresh broth. I like to make my tea fresh, so I like to ladle out the broth straight out of the crock pot. Now, I try not to get too much tallow, okay? Tallow is that oily layer on top. Now, you don't really want to drink tallow. That's a little bit like trying to drink melted butter, but it is really good for cooking. I actually use it as a butter substitute all the time. I also use it in my handmade creams and medicines and things like that. And I'm going to be doing some videos on that. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those videos. What I like to do is just kind of shake my spoon back and forth and then scoop up pretty quickly. And that usually helps get rid of a lot of the tallow from the top. Okay, and then I pour it right into my cup. Now, sometimes when you are making bone broth, you'll get little flecks of bone, little bits of meat, little things here and there. If you don't want that, or you don't want to risk getting that into your tea, then you're going to want to use some kind of a strainer. Now, if you're not using fresh broth, say broth that you have in the fridge or something, you're going to want to scoop the tallow off of the top and put the tallow in a separate container so that you can render it, purify it, and get it ready for whatever else you're going to use it for. And then you can either reheat the bone broth on the stove, or you can scoop it into a mug and reheat it in the microwave. Now, I've discovered that bone broth takes longer to warm up than water. So if I want to heat my water for about a minute, then I'm going to want to heat my bone broth for 1.5 to 2 minutes. And what I recommend is start with 1.5 minutes. And if that's hot enough to brew your tea, excellent. If it's not, give it another 30 seconds. And then you just add the tea bag. You let it steep for 8 to 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the kind of tea that you're making, and you're good to go. Now, do be careful because just as it takes a lot longer to heat up the bone broth, it also takes a lot longer to cool down. So be very careful when it is cooling off. If you need to, use a little bit less bone broth than you normally do. And then once the tea is done steeping, you can add a little bit of water to cool it off, or add some milk or cream. I have noticed that bone broth has its own unique flavor. And so I've discovered that there are certain tea flavorings that I really like to use it with and some that I really don't. I really like the flavors that are a little bit warmer, so to speak, or the ones that use warming spices. I like cinnamon, I like turmeric, dandelion root with bone broth. Something else that's so good is throat coat. If you guys haven't tried that, that is my all-time favorite. I'll put a link in the description for you because you got to try it. It's so good. I'll drink that stuff even if my throat isn't sore. Now, flavors I don't really like have more of a cooling effect, or the cooling herbs like peppermint, spearmint, those kinds of things. I got to be careful with the fruits. I really love orange and citrus, but I don't really love raspberry. Now, if you're interested in turning your own herbs into your own herbal tea, I'm going to be showing that in a video coming up. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. You know what else is really good? Bone broth cocoa. Now, there are some people who say it tastes like chicken broth with chocolate, and I would say you made it wrong. But that is a topic for another video, which I will be posting right here when it's out. I hope you enjoy some of the other Desert Forest Garden adventures. Thanks for watching.